Hi, my name is David Cataford from Career Services here at the University of Calgary, and we're going to hit Mac Hall today and see if we can give some tips to students and help them for their interviews.
I don't know if I want to be interviewed. I'm not a very good interviewee.
This is a great.
Everybody's good.
This is a great opportunity for you to get better.
Okay.
Are you game? Okay. So
All right.
we'll start by just asking you your name.
Okay.
So what's your name?
I'm Jared Bancroft.
And what are you taking here at the university?
I'm a grad student in geomatics engineering.
Okay. So pretend that I'm kind of like an interviewer for your dream company, okay? Let me ask you this. Where do you see yourself in 5 years from now?
Working for your company. Definitely with a job, settle down, working for a company, settled into, position, comfortable, that kind of thing.
I think you did great. I mean, that's a really tough sort of question to answer, but I think just tell them the truth, okay? But kind of keep it related professionally to your career. Like, don't tell them that, you plan to travel and move to Italy and get married and have, 4 kids with your wife. Yeah. That's none of their business. But kind of keep it, I think you answered it honestly. Do you have any questions for me in regards to interviewing? How to prepare for an interview?
Well, I guess if they ask a question like that, do you actually say like what you aspire to be, or you're supposed to say something that they'd want to hear?
No, I think you have to answer it honestly.
Yeah.
And don't worry about what you think they want to hear. Tell them the truth, but keep it career related.
Okay.
Okay? What are your strengths?
I feel like I'm a pretty good leader. I've been involved in lots of group activities, so I know how to manage big groups and basically lead people. Also, my strengths, because I'm in engineering, one of my biggest strengths is math, science, so stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay, pretty good. I think, when you get the strengths question, I think what you have to do is really back it up with some proof. And you did, which is excellent. Can I shoot her another question?
Absolutely.
What are your weaknesses?
I can be a bit shy sometimes. That's one of my weaknesses. But it's pretty easy for me to overcome that because I'm so committed to being the leader, so I have to overcome that somehow. So yeah, that's pretty good.
Okay, that's my favorite question in the world. What are your weaknesses? And she answered it amazing. Because I'll tell you, tell them the truth, tell them what your weaknesses are, and then tell them what you're doing about it. And that's exactly what you did. Good going.
Thank you.
We're in an interview. What are your strengths?
I do everything by myself. I like people. I smell excellent. I can switch to any ideology at the drop of a hat. I potentially believe in any cause and none. I'll do anything you want me to. I'm legal to work in Canada.
Okay, so we have a gentleman here with a dry sense of humor. I like that.
And a diverse number of strengths.
Amazing number of strengths. Awesome way to answer it. I just back it up with some proof, though. Okay.
Well, I'm standing here talking to you right now, and I should be in class. So, as I say, anything you want, I'll do it.
I'm kind of scared to ask you this one, but what are your weaknesses?
Probably too modest, I would say. No, in all truth, I like to do things myself a little bit too much. I tend to reject other people's help sometimes, except right now, obviously. But again, anything you want.
What are your weaknesses?
My weaknesses? Perfectionism. I tend to get lost in a project, so I spend too much time on something. And when my time management skills could be far better allotted to other projects instead of just one, that's one of my major weaknesses. And I've heard a lot about being hard on myself, not doing enough work or not being disciplined enough, I find can be one of my weaknesses. So, yeah.
Okay. I think that's pretty good. I would always tell them what you're doing about it, though, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because weaknesses, If you're not doing anything about your weaknesses, sometimes you don't want to mention them in an interview. But it's okay to mention a weakness, but let them know what you're doing about it. That's the best advice I can give you in regards to that. Do you have any questions for me on interviewing?
Okay, one thing what's your weakness?
Okay.
The weakness questions where people try to like turn it into a positive. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, what is your opinion on that?
I don't like that. Personally, I don't
Okay.
like the idea of turning a strength into a weakness because it kind of makes you sound
Or
sort
a
of
weakness
phony.
into a strength. you mean.
Yeah.
Okay.
But what I would do is tell them the truth, tell them what your weakness is.
But how you're like
and then,
working on it?
Yeah, and how you're working on it. Exactly. What are your strengths?
I am responsible, punctual, good, I think, team worker, and have a little bit of leadership qualities, I would say.
Okay. I really like your answer and your enthusiasm. What I'd like to do is get you to back it up with some proof. Okay.
I work very well with my team. Like, we recently had a project and we aced that project in like whole first year. So it was very good and successful teamwork that we did. I have a job which I get promoted in a lot of times because of my teamwork and get bonuses, which I'm happy about. And I have been a sports prefect, you can kind of call it, like a head of sports. So that kind of concludes my leadership qualities, I would say.
Okay, excellent. Now, how would you answer the question, what are your weaknesses?
I get too panicky when I have something due on me. I do stress out a lot when I have to do something. And I sometimes can be, I don't know. So recently I've been very not punctual because of my morning classes.
Okay, when you get that weaknesses question, I think really tell them the truth, tell them what your weaknesses are, and then back it up by telling what you're learning about it or what you're doing to combat that weakness. Okay? And one thing I noticed is you were silent a little bit, and I think that's fine when you go into an interview because they like to see you think. Okay, so I think that's really good. Do you have any questions for me in regards to how to prepare for an interview?
I guess first impressions are huge.
Yeah.
As a professional interviewer, what would you expect somebody to walk in wearing? Just basically, like, how would they you want them to present themselves? Strong handshake, or like what would you look for? What would say that would be a good person to hire?
Well, you got to look good.
Yeah.
Okay, so whatever they're wearing at that workplace, wear that or maybe even something better.
Yeah.
So if they wear business casual like what I'm wearing right now, maybe you wear a suit.
Yeah.
Okay, look good, shave, and walk in, shake their hand, and give really good eye contact. The first 2 minutes of an interview are the most important, so you want to make a really good first impression. A lot of companies now, they ask you BDI questions, behavioral descriptive interview questions. So let me ask you, tell me about a time when you had too much work to do and too little time to do it.
Other than right now, I would say probably one of the many other times I've been in school. I'm constantly underestimating the amount of time I need to do something. I do that a lot with tasks, especially like tasks where I have to be creative. I tend to think I'll sit down and it'll just come, but it doesn't. Yeah, I would say that would be a good description.
The way to kind of answer that question is really tell them about a past experience, right? And then tell them what you did about it.
Well,
and then
I'm sure
always,
I would have either thought of one or made one up prior to an interview. Most likely, I'm being honest.
Okay. Kind of use the STAR formula: situation, task, action, result, and think of all your accomplishments with previous work, including school, and then you can use those during an interview.